What you are watching is a chapter out of my book, The Normies Guide to the Theory of Nothing. Now you do not need to watch the rest of these chapters in order to enjoy this chapter. This chapter is good all on its own. So if you like this chapter as a nice sample of the book, you can watch the rest of the book in order from the beginning, if you enjoy. Namaste, mother duckers. Chapter 17, The Dunning-Kruger Effect.
The Tale of Two Hills. In the land of knowledge and truth, there are two hills. We all start out as a blank slate in this land, not knowing anything, not claiming any truth. Our truth is determined by our surroundings, our upbringing. We can only know and learn what we are exposed to. In essence, we know nothing with 100% certainty. By the time we are teenagers, we, almost universally, are very confident in what we believe. Our reasons for believing these truths of reality may or may not be good, but boy howdy are we confident. We are at the top of the first hill. It feels nice to be confident in what you believe in. The reality we live in appears to have a level of objectivity to it, so having confidence in a prescribed objective truth makes sense. We did it! We figured everything out! We cannot possibly be wrong! But many of us question, what if I am wrong? How reliable were the methods for me to come to this particular conclusion? How can I verify the validity of this claim? Can I test it? What does a failed test look like? To those who dare to ask these questions, will soon find themselves in the valley of agnosticism. Not so sure of ourselves, we humbly remember the confidence of our youth. How can we get that feeling back? If I was wrong, what is right? How can I convince even the strictest of skeptics that I am right, if I think I have found the truth? With science, it gets us all excited again. We start climbing the second hill. We learn that there is this mathematical tool called a confidence interval, which we can use to relay to others how certain we are of a knowledge claim, assuming the proposed axioms are correct. We march on as a species to discover the one truth to be taught to the next generation. University. Some truths have multiple viable interpretations even on the second hill, and that's okay. Quantum mechanics and general relativity are both correct enough. Suspecting that COVID-19 began from a lab leak, or a food market, or from natural mutations are all reasonable. These multiple hypotheses can help increase our understanding of the phenomena we are studying. But sometimes the two hills conflict with each other. Creationism versus evolution. Soul versus psyche. Untestable hypothesis versus null hypothesis. It is a battle for the soul and psyche. Internally, this war is called cognitive dissonance. It is better to resolve this dissonance than to let it fester. On Christ, the solid rock you stand on the first hill. But past the sinking sand in the valley of agnosticism, there is another solid rock of science on the second hill. And Christ looks like sandstone at best from the perspective of this second hill, because we have learned to say, once again, that we know nothing with 100% certainty.
There is a lot we don't know, but within the small set of things we do know, having an intuitive understanding of the Dunning-Kruger effect is something everyone should know. The world would be a much better place if certain quacks, charlatans, anti-intellectuals, and pseudoscientific proponents would consider if they were wrong for a moment. If these people didn't know Jack, but claimed to know Jack, the information out there on Jack becomes murky, a muddying of the waters. How much harm could be done if one were to suggest that a vaccine to a deadly virus is even more deadly than the virus itself? How many people have died after saying these famous last words? The cure can't be worse than the disease. Here's a good word of advice. If you aren't a doctor of medicine, don't be suggesting that people take horseworm medication for a virus. Yes, that really happened. That is a classic example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. An idiot sounds confident because he is a quack, relaying misinformation from the first hill. Then, when other people hear this misinformation, they think that they got it from a reliable source. However, the reliable source was ultimately a charlatan trying to get you to either buy their end-time survival kit, essential oils, brand of religion, or something like that. Truths shouted from the first hill can reliably be dismissed as false. Truths calmly and methodically relayed from the second hill are consistently relayed with a degree of probability of being true. A 100% confidence is a common trope of first hill truths. Run far away from them. I want you to take a metaphorical sandboard straight into the valley of agnosticism. Then grab your metaphorical climbing gear and get to work climbing that second hill. At the top of this second hill, an inevitable physical death is one of the select few certainties. Many other certainties are naturally paradoxical and absurd, that only nothing can adequately resolve. But so many other near certainties, with the smallest amount of faith in the dimensions of mass electric spacetime, are waiting to be discovered. Yes, even the naturalist requires faith that the physical dimensions exist. There are a lot of diagrams of the Dunning-Kruger effect that are online, and a lot of them are fairly good and will further enlighten you on the tropes of this effect. But I don't care for the fact that it depicts only individuals at the top of the first hill who state, "I know everything." Heck, I also know everything. It is a quantitative set of all of the solitary units that have a unique amplitude of each dimension. I know everything. Because this is everything. Well, technically omega everything is everything, but you should get what I mean. I don't literally know everything, just the one thing on the meta topic of everything. I also know nothing. Because this is nothing. So Shinada